Chapter 02, First Contact. It's been 90 days since I reincarnated as a slime. To be precise, it's 90 days, 7 hours, 34 minutes, and 52 seconds. How can I be so exact? That's thanks to the corrective effect of my unique skill, Great Sage. Man, this skill is incredibly convenient. Whenever I'm in trouble, I just ask Great Sage, and it answers everything. According to Great Sage, it took exactly 90 days for the skill to stabilize, and stabilize means integrating with this world. I thought it meant stabilizing within me, but apparently the skills I possess aren't just stabilized, they're etched into my soul. It explained that it accessed and took over the voice of the world, which ordinarily wouldn't respond. I had absolutely no idea what that meant though. Apparently, normally, there isn't such a convenient skill that allows answers to resonate in your mind in response to questions. The voice of the world only resonates when the world is altered or when skills are acquired or evolved. It seems Great Sage appropriated that voice to answer my questions. It was unfamiliar in my original world, but it seems to be normal here. Though acquiring skills and evolving isn't exactly common. It seems skills are rarely acquired when the world acknowledges some kind of growth. And evolution? That's apparently completely unrelated to ordinary people. It all felt vague, like I understood and didn't understand at the same time, but I had no choice but to accept it. Even though Great Sage now answers my questions, it's still passive and has no ego. It won't ask me anything unless I initiate the conversation. That's a bit of a shame. Still, I'm glad that a one-sided conversation is possible, even if it's just me talking to myself. Talking to my own skill would have been considered a weird delusion back in my old world. Enduring the dark. And so, with nothing else to do in the pitch black, I started asking a ton of questions. As a result, I unequivocally confirmed that I am indeed a slime, a viscous organism, an indeterminate life form. I also found out why I don't need to eat or sleep. Slimes in this world don't need to eat if they can absorb magicules. In areas with low magicule concentration, they apparently absorb monsters or small animals to replenish their magicules. That's why, unusually for this world, slimes in low magicule areas are apparently more ferocious and stronger. Normally, the higher the magicule concentration, the stronger the monster. So, this place must have such a high concentration of magicules that I don't need to eat. As for sleep, solution. A slime's body is a collection of identical cells. Each individual cell acts as a brain cell, a nerve, and a muscle. Therefore, sleep is unnecessary, as the computing cells that handle thought take turns resting. That was the explanation. Where are my memories stored? I wondered if it was like a RAID system in a PC's hard drive, and Great Sage replied, mostly correct. Great Sage is surprisingly good at chiming in. And the skill effects of Great Sage that I was curious about were: solution. Unique skill, Great Sage effects. Thought acceleration. Increases perception speed by 1,000 times the normal rate. Analytic appraisal. Analyzes and appraises targets. Parallel processing. Performs calculations on phenomenon to be analyzed, separating them from thought processes. Chant annulment. Eliminates the need for incantations when casting magic, etc. All of creation. Encompasses all unhidden phenomenon in this world. These 5 are the main abilities? All of creation? Did I just effortlessly gain all knowledge? I thought. But in reality, it can only disclose information about things I've perceived, things I'm already aware of. In other words, I need to see something once, but once I've seen it, I can analyze it. However, chant annulment. Does that mean if I learn magic, I can cast it without incanting? And wait, so magic does exist? The answer was yes. Once I knew that, I became desperate to learn magic. I tried asking Great Sage if I could use it, even though I expected a no, and of course it was impossible. But then I had an idea. Is it possible to link Great Sage's parallel processing to Predator's analysis? Solution. It is possible to link Great Sage's parallel processing to Predator's analysis. Would you like to link them? Yes? No? Of course, yes. Though, there's nothing to analyze right now. Wait. The grass I've been eating to pass the time, the grass I've stored in my stomach, what is that? Well, there's nothing else to do, so I might as well have it analyzed. And so I immediately put it into action. Ha. 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 Analysis complete. Hypococte grass. Raw material for wound medicine. Only grows in areas with high magicule concentration. When the grass juice is fused with magicules, it becomes a healing potion. When the leaves are crushed and fused with magicules, it becomes an ointment that closes wounds. No way! The weeds I'd been collecting just to kill time. It was an unexpected windfall. I immediately started making healing potions and wound medicine, though since they were being made automatically inside my body, I didn't actually feel anything. The analysis took less than a second, and it took less than 3 seconds to create one. I could make 100 in 5 minutes. I couldn't really compare the quality, but when I appraised them, they were high quality. I guess the results were satisfactory. Anyway, both analysis and creation are incredibly fast. When I asked, it said it usually takes much longer. Linking parallel processing was definitely the right choice. I tried creating one with the link disabled as a test. It took 50 minutes. The reduction in time was astounding. It seems I unknowingly acquired some very compatible skills. While some ordinary weeds were mixed in, most of the grass growing here seemed to be hypococte grass. To prepare for any emergencies, I started devouring all the grass here as if I meant to eat it all. At the same time, I diligently produced healing potions in my stomach. After all, I was still in pitch blackness. There was nothing else to do or could do. A sudden plunge. At this moment, I was completely off guard. Part of it was getting carried away because I had someone, or something, to answer my questions, even if it was my own skill and passive. Another factor was that in these 90 days, I hadn't sensed any other creatures, nor had I been in any danger. In any case, I was careless. Splash! Note, the user does not hear this sound. Please enjoy it as an objective image. Huh? The thought lasted only a moment. My body suddenly felt both light and heavy, in a very unstable state. Could it be I fell into water? For the past 90 days, I hadn't felt any water droplets fall on me, so I'd been careless, thinking I was in a rainless cave or indoors. It seems I slipped and fell into a river or something. There wouldn't be a river indoors, so perhaps it's an underground lake in a cave. Just a moment ago, I was moving step by step, cautiously, in the dark where I couldn't see anything. But then, after receiving skill explanations and getting carried away, gorging on grass with my predator skill, I neglected to check my footing. I'm always like this. I always get carried away and mess up. Even with clients, I'd say, leave it to me, it's a piece of cake. And how many times did I see hell after such stupid replies? I recalled the resentful eyes of my junior colleagues from those days. Seriously? Who in their right mind would start running when it's pitch black and they can't see anything? I want to give myself a lecture. If I survive, I'll lecture myself. But I'll probably regret it but not learn my lesson, right? More like I have too much leeway. Even if I wanted to flail around, I don't have limbs. So I can't panic, which is my current situation. It's over. It was a short life, or rather, a short slime life. I braced myself for the imminent suffocation. The suffocation never came. Why not? Did I not fall into water after all? In times like these, it's a job for great sage. I immediately asked. The solution. A slime's body operates solely on magicules. Oxygen is not required, so breathing is not performed. Right, I hadn't noticed, but I wasn't breathing. I see. After 90 days, I've gotten a little smarter. However, it seems I definitely fell into the water. While I might not die, the situation remains problematic. What should I do? I can't quite tell if I'm floating or sinking. Without limbs, I don't feel like I can swim. If I sink to the bottom, can I crawl back to solid ground? Or will I just float or sink aimlessly, carried away by the current? It feels less like being carried away and more like being in a cradle. I'm embraced by tiny undulations, and it's very pleasant. There's no water current here. It feels more like a lake than a river. I don't feel like I'm being carried anywhere. I was floating and sinking, but there was no sign of reaching the bottom. Maybe I'll just stay like this indefinitely. This is a very bad situation. What to do? Water jet propulsion. At that moment, my brain cells, my slime body, came up with a terrifying plan. Why not absorb a lot of water and then expel it like water jet propulsion to move? As soon as I thought of it, I acted. There was nothing else to do, so it was only natural. However, I never imagined that this spur-of-the-moment idea would lead to a fateful encounter. The idea itself was good. At least, if I had gone in a different direction, this encounter wouldn't have happened. But as if guided by fate, I began to move in one direction. For now, I drank water until my predator stomach was about 10% full. XX, I wasn't aware of it, but the water level visibly lowered. Then I released it all at once. The sensation of release was immense. Skill, water pressure propulsion acquired. A voice suddenly resonated in my mind. It was the first time I consciously heard it. This must be the voice of the world. There's no mistaking it, since Great Sage doesn't speak to me, but it sounded truly identical. However, at this moment, I had absolutely no time to calmly analyze it. Thump! An accelerating force hit my body, and I was propelled forward, or rather, in the direction I wanted to move, with such speed that it felt like I was flying. Honestly, it might have been good that I couldn't see. Only the sensation of my body moving at an incredible speed through the darkness assailed me. Correction. No, if I could see, the terror would be immense, but not being able to see was intensely terrifying. If you've ever experienced a roller coaster in the dark at an amusement park, you might be able to empathize a little. My experience from that one time in the mouse-controlled paradise before my reincarnation was being replayed. However, in this case, safety was absolutely not guaranteed. I wanted to punch myself for coming up with water jet propulsion. Act immediately on an idea? You idiot! Safety checks are fundamental. Bah! My thoughts were too jumbled by fear. How long will this acceleration last? And how much water did I really shoot out? Just as I thought that, bang, boing, rumble, crash. And the excruciating pain that followed didn't come. Huh? It feels like I haven't taken any damage. Or perhaps there's damage but no pain? Solution. Due to the acquisition of pain nullification resistance, no pain is generated. Damage reduction from the physical attack resistance skill has been applied. Body damage rate is 10%. Monster, slime, inherent skill, self-regeneration has activated. Would you like to assist with unique skill predator? Yes? No. So there's damage, just no pain. Of course, I don't know if that's good or bad, but if I can detect malfunctions without pain, maybe I don't need pain. And assistance with predator? I don't really get it, but for now, yes. The moment I said that, I felt as if a large part of my body had vanished. Then, after a while, I gradually felt it returning to its original volume. It seems I devoured the damaged part, analyzed it, and repaired it. What a convenient body! I wonder how much I can lose before I become incapacitated. My activities don't seem to be affected even if a percentage of my body is gone, though I have a bad feeling it would be dangerous, so I'll be moderate. Yeah, even I've become cautious, it seems. This time, I had a lot of healing potions, but I didn't even need to use them. In any case, 10% body damage sounds serious, but it turns out I can recover in about 10 minutes. Next time I get damaged, though I'd prefer not to, I'll try using a healing potion. So where exactly am I? After confirming that my body was back to normal, I tried to get a sense of my surroundings. There might be dangerous monsters around here. It seems I've emerged from the water, so it wouldn't be surprising if there were monsters that can't cross water. I began to move cautiously. Lately, it feels like every time I act cautiously, I end up in a dangerous situation, but that must be my imagination. Perhaps thinking that was a mistake. Can you hear me, little one? I heard something.